Maybe.
This segment has been sponsored by the Ubuntu Room. Come join Dana Sardano as she offers life-changing advice that will affect the spiritual, emotional, and physical aspects of your being. Within her easily available writings, you will find the solution you need for your problems. Tune in to the Ubuntu Room on the Brooklyn Cafe Show.
Hi, my name is Dana Sardano, and this is the Ubuntu Room. I am so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. So, Book Club, Rec 6, we are on the decline, which is awesome. But as Dawn said, Rec 6 was a really long one. Rec 6 and Rec 4 are the most in-depth and, have you do the most digging. But I think it gets a little bit easier from here on out. Before we get into the 6th recommandment, there's something that I want to talk about. I always have time to reflect from the week before, and this is what I'd like to share with you today. So I published 10 Recommandments for Personal Empowerment in the spring of 2022, wrote it in the spring of 2021. And in the process, in that publishing process, I handed it off to a lot of people, had friends read it. I've had plenty of people read it, even from then to now. And I've got some varied responses. There's the people who were like, oh, it's a fun read, you tell great stories. And then there's the people that open it, read a page, and they're like, no, it's not for me. And then there's the people who read it, they put it down, they pick it up, they get immersed, they get stuck on a recommandment, they go back to it, and it really, really kicks their butts. And I'm bringing this up because we all are going to receive this information differently. For those that said it's a fun read, they weren't ready to pick up its power and its purpose. For those who couldn't even open it, weren't even ready to look at it. But for those who really were ready to commit to themselves and take the time and look within, because that's all it is a guidebook, to look within and really understand how to bring themselves back into balance, that is the challenge. So we are on Rec 6 today, but if you are still, figuring out that your solar plexus chakra from Rec 4, is out of whack and looking at that, then stay there. Do what it is you have to do. Or if you're still examining your beliefs and how they affect your patterns, or you still look at life a little bit in victimhood and are trying to pull yourself out of that, please do that. There is no shame in the game. We'd love you to join us, hang out, let's talk Rec 6, but please do not feel in any way that you're doing it wrong, because you're doing what's best for you, and that's what matters here. So with that said, Recommandment 6, I shall not judge, attach, or expect anything from anyone or any situation. Rather, I shall recognize and understand that judgment, attachment, and expectation rob me of my peace. Now, when I first heard this, I was like, come on. And when I explored it, and that's really the content in the 6th recommandment, how when I explored that and I made sense of it. But when you really think about it, I just want to kind of put this out there and then focus on our own attachments and our own judgments and our own expectations and see how we can bring them back to center. But what I really thought about it is like when people say attachment, they're like, oh, we're attached to all sorts of things. But really, we commit to things. But when it is all convoluted with emotion and imbalance, it becomes attachment or judgment. My husband's like, I have to judge things to know what's right and wrong for me. No, you have to discern things. You have to assess things. But when there's attachment and there's an emotional component that creates imbalance, then it becomes judgment. And expectation. Yeah, intention is important. We intend to do things. That's what navigates. That's our rudder. But when that attention turns to expectation because we are attached to an outcome, it creates imbalance. So at the end of the day, judgment, attachment, and expectation are all just when we are out of balance. And when we can see that and bring ourselves back into balance, it's smooth sailing. So I want to know your attachments. I want to know your judgments. I want to know your expectations. And I want to have a conversation. So let's do this.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Oh, so I got
Pointed at you
nominated.
first.
I just got to make sure you have a mic.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay,
have
all right,
mic'd up,
perfect.
yep. So, we were briefly talking just before the segment started about the attachments to our identity. So there was a period of time that I've always wanted to, since being a child, I wanted to help people. And so I went into pharmacy technician, registered, certified for 21 years. And you start to find out certain aspects. So I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but you start getting into aspects. And what I wanted to do, help people, this was not exactly what I expected it to be. And finally went out and with my son's autism diagnosis went somewhere else. The reason why I mentioned that is because I can see myself as two different versions of helping people. There was this one medicated, chemical, sterile kind of place, and that didn't quite resonate with me. So I wanted to be in a place where I could offer healing from a different place. So I had to leave my attachment to what the society would look at as helping people. How could I tell people what I do and be accepted? When I would tell them I was a pharmacy technician, there was always some kind of notoriety or respect for what I did.
They understand that.
Yeah.
So after getting out of that, then it was like rebuilding now a new identity. How do I put myself forward and making sure that people understood that I had this grounding, because people look for grounding. If you say I'm part of the woo, people aren't going to give you the time of day. But the minute that I say, hey, I have this background in healthcare and experience with my son, there's a different way that people approach you and move around you. So it goes hand in hand with understanding that you had an attachment, or I had an attachment to that identity, and now I had to kind of like put it on the back burner to say, yes, this is part of it, but this is now my new identity, and there's nothing wrong with me.
There's so many things in your book that resonated with me, but since you're talking about that, when I started working with Freddie, I was in my late 40s, and I wasn't quite in the 50s. I wasn't quite in that change of life, but I had kids young. So they had already gone to school. I was already like an empty nester. I was looking for what was next in my identity. I worked in my dad's medical office. He retired, we closed the office, and then it's like, what was next? And I started working with Freddie, and the women that came forward, and I say women because it was all women seeking a new identity, like you spoke about in the chapter. What am I going to do in my 50s? I've got this whole life ahead. Now what? So we met with a lot of empowerment coaches, women doing solopreneurs. They weren't in corporate. They were looking to find their own identity, not whether it be pharmacy tech or anything else, which I thought was so interesting that you talked, not interesting, but again, resonated with. You had so many things in this chapter that if you really take the time to go through the information, it will resonate in different levels. But it made me think of the women we always worked with, and now the women are a whole nother level.
Everything's a different
right?
level. When I came, my life has always been taking one step back to take two steps forward.
Yes.
So when I went to NYU, I was going to be in medicine because I wanted to help people. But I didn't realize I didn't want to do that. But I found out the hard way I didn't want to do that. So I left that and I finished my studies, and I got into politics. I got into different jobs. For instance, I had 2,897 jobs. Nothing ever made me happy. Making money was not even the reason I did it. I always made money. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then when I came to Florida on a whim and lost $7 million, I came to the conclusion that I'm in trouble because the project I was building stopped. And I showed you the project and the blueprint. She's seen it. So I'm not making this up.
Right.
I ended up living in the streets. And then one day, my son, I went to visit him. Everything moved up, and I went to visit him, and he was doing streaming, and it changed my life. I didn't know anything about a camera. I didn't know anything about lights. I didn't know anything about people. But it sat me down at a radio station, and one thing that radio does is it makes you talk to people. Then I met this one. After 4 years of that chase, she said no many, many times. She finally came forward. And everything changed when she came and her and her daughter decided to bring them in. So I went one step back, two steps forward, and all of that came about. And it's just been a different novel for the last 10 years.
1000%.
One way after the other, one way after the other. And you find your way. Because even though they don't understand what that means yet, don't learn it my way.
Exactly.
Learn it that way.
Exactly.
It's a whole lot easier learning it that way than this way.
1000%.
It's funny because when I read the title, it's different than the reading of the chapter. Again, I guess, not that it was a judgment, it was an expectation of what I thought it was going to be. I shall not judge, attach, or expect anything from anyone or any situation. And sometimes I'll say to you, I don't expect anything. And you're like, well, that's like a little jaded. Don't you think you should have expectations? But you learn in life not to have expectations of people because what happens? And sometimes they let you down.
Yeah.
So you don't. So then he'll say, well, that's judgmental. Yes, I could have a whole conversation with you. You don't open your mouth.
Oh my God, that's me and Rob. And I'm like, nah, 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 nah. And then I say my part.
Well, you're judging. I'm like, I'm not judging. These are just facts. It's like, well, so it's all of this in this chapter that you say it's discerning the information.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you know, Angela and I used to joke about it's not judging, it's assessing. So we're like, you're getting a little assessy. You're a little assessy. So that was the joke. But I'm glad you brought up expectation because there's a line. Like, I forget the stuff that I write because some of it comes through, right? But there's something that I wrote here that I just wanted to share that I thought was, if I may say so myself, I thought was interesting. You know, I talk about expectation. And I talk about how I consider myself to be a relatively generous person. When I care for you, like I'm willing to do anything for you. And I always thought of myself that way, but I'd be in these relationships where I'd get taken for granted and taken advantage of, and it would always leave me feeling victimized, right?
Yes.
Like, nobody, people don't appreciate me, and then feed all those old beliefs. And what I realize now, because now I give from a true place of love, whereas before it came with an expectation. If I gave to you, if I was generous with you, you have to love me because I didn't believe that I was worthy of love. And I didn't, obviously hindsight is just such a, you know, these glasses are so much more brilliant than when you're in it. But I wrote, this is about my giving and feeling taken for granted. Is loving someone with a level of expectation really love? Or is it a way of manipulating the situation to get unfulfilled needs met? And going back and seeing that, I thought it was brilliant, but it was really profound because if I'm giving to you so you can give me what I need, that's conditional love. It's coming with expectation. What is really true love or again the true giving without expectation? And that's what I had to look at myself my whole life, because those are my tendencies to go off balance, because my coping skill or my superpower is the desire, the generosity, but when it comes at my peril, then there's that level of expectation that I have to put back in check. You know,
But I also thought it was interesting when you talked about the passing of your mom and your brother's phone call to you. And I kept thinking, because I know what
that
happened.
was a big deal.
I know what happened in my family in a similar situation and what happened, and it was the opposite of what happened in your book. So
you can share the detail if you want. I mean, that's like.
Well, I mean, it's your book. So, but I remember thinking, wow, how's she going to handle this? What's she going to do?
Were
Is
you
she going
surprised?
to? For me, yes, because for me, I'm always the people pleaser, and I would have done it something else. And I did. We actually, with my sibling, to do it another way.
Yeah.
But you didn't, and you went through, and you were like, you had no regrets on it.
No.
So you knew it was the right thing to do. So you can share. I don't want to share your story.
Yeah, it was a really big deal. So it's so hard without giving all the backstory. But essentially, I had been estranged from my mother from when I got married in 2014. It was a really ugly, it was Chernobyl. It was a really ugly situation. And my mother, my brother, my stepfather, it was just ugliness. And it had been ugly my whole life, but that was like the final battle. And so and just didn't see my children, like it was a thing. And so from 2014 to about 2017, I had been fully estranged from my mother. And somewhere in the summer of 2017, I got a random text from my brother that, again, out of the blue, because I'd been estranged from my brother probably 10 years before that, but basically said, your mother is full of cancer, maybe you want to go see her. And I had to make the decision. What I had freed myself from, where I had spent all the last 3 years healing myself from, in fetal on the floor, my husband picking me up, putting me back together, because I had to readjust my beliefs that I was somehow deserving of, we'll just call it the mistreatment. Now is my obligation to my mother. This is what you're supposed to do. Go and see her on her death. I think the title is My Mother's Deathbed, right? To go and see her. Is that belief of what I should do more important than my self-preservation and my healing? And I chose not to go. And I don't remember exactly how I wrote it, but it was something like, I chose not to step into the hornet's nest, and I had no regrets. And I found out that my mother passed a few months later I got a text from a family friend, a message on Facebook. And she was like, my condolences. And I felt like somebody punched me in the stomach because I had no idea and my mother passed. Now, fast forward, book plug to Beyond the 10 Decoding the Woo Woo. I tell the story that I entitle My Mother's Box. And that's all bringing the thing full circle. But it is about a box I received in the mail after my mother passed. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, no regrets. And I get how I would be judged. I had circumstances with my girl's birth father. I get how you could judge me. But you don't live my existence, just as I don't live your existence. And I had to make decisions that were my best and highest good based on my self-love, my self-preservation. And once I chose to do that, my life became a beautiful place to live.
1000%.
I want to hear from Max.
Uh-oh. I had a feeling you were going to say that at some point, but you already stole my thunder because I was going to read the same line that you just
Shut
read.
up! Read it again. We'll pretend like we didn't hear it.
I even have the page folded down, but I feel like this concept is just really important about, is loving somebody with a level of expectation really love, or is it a way of manipulating the situation to get unfulfilled needs met? And
that was
powerful. I hope I don't cry because
we got you, boo.
I just am in a transition with a relationship in my life, and I think I've been doing that.
It's okay. I would give you a tissue, but I've got nothing.
It's okay.
So we love
We'll
you.
get you one.
It's okay.
So you're in the thick of it.
And this person's been acting the same way. They haven't changed. I'm the one that's changed. I'm noticing their behavior, and it's I shouldn't be putting up with this treatment.
There you go.
Oh, look at that magic. Put 'em right here.
Anyway, I meant to warn you guys that I felt like
Yeah.
it was going to come.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's no shame in the game. So isn't that funny how when you change, they don't get the memo. They don't get the memo. So now you have to make these hard decisions for them because they're just confused, just playing the same role that they've always played.
Yep.
So, but now you have to make a choice. Do you drown with them? Or do you free yourself and rise? And you've got to love yourself to do that. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's I feel like I've been resistant to making change. It's I want to get in shape, but I don't feel like going to the gym or eating healthy. I feel like I'm that person. But this is I just read the book. I finished it in the first week before we even started the book club. And it just feels it's once you learn something, you can't ignore it. So I didn't even really have to do anything. I just read the book, and things have started to happen, which is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it's a great, there's so many things. You talk about identity and so many things. It could almost be like a book in itself, this one chapter.
This is a big
one. Because there's a lot of things in it, and the judgment's interesting. I know, I had the whole conversation with you, asked and answered and everything. But we talk about it a lot. And you talk about, well, the attachment's another big one because you don't realize, I guess the word attachment, what everyone has their definition of what attachment is, right? There can
According
be,
to Anne-Marie, it's all semantics. You have to have the energy, the frequency of attachment.
but right, there can be attachment to a person. It can be an energetic attachment. It can be a physical attachment. It can be an emotional attachment. I know. I complicate life.
The attachment, because the thing happens, like what happened to Max, that's the physicality of it. Something did happen.
Yeah.
And now the semantics is what keeps you at that, reliving that over and over again. It's the verbiage, it's the understanding, as you talking to yourself and trying to convince yourself, okay, I'm over this. And you can't because the semantics get in the way. So all of a sudden, you're coaching yourself on words not on the action that took place.
100%. And
So-
not on the really the feeling behind it,
Exactly.
the frequency behind it, because all of our words mean something different to each of us.
Exactly.
1000%.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I talk about all the different I think attachment was the longest part in this section of judgment, attachment, and expectation, because we're attached to so many things. Earlier we talked about, you know, the attachment to identity,
Yeah.
the attachment to stuff, the attachment to beliefs. Oh my God. And I talk about in here the trunk. I don't know if you remember the story about the trunk. And the attachment to things that we feel keep us connected to those we love. And when I had that experience, I was able to truly grieve it because I had stuffed it down, and then put it to rest. And I think many of us need to do that. If you look around, your place is cluttered. Not that this place is all these things that have stories. I'm talking about in your home, things that you're afraid. Oh, this paper towel roll. This was the time that. If you don't want to get rid of that because the connection to that. You have to
cardboard
ask
boxes.
yourself.
The
What?
card-
Oh my
cardboard-
God! I'm like the greatest cardboard hoarder. I don't know what it is. It's weird. It's a weird thing. I am such a minimalist, but my cardboard collection is off the charts.
Cardboard and styrofoam and bubble wrapping. Yes, yes.
You know, I suffer from that. I don't throw anything away.
I know.
Do you know that, again, I just discovered, I don't know what you want to call this, I hate going home to an empty house. So it's like when Linda goes away with her daughter or something, or there's nobody there, I hate coming home to an empty house. So
Not me. I'm like, yes, party.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
that-
God, for me,
Oh, my
yes.
underwear slide across the floor.
no,
Me, I'm like, no TV, no noise, no nothing.
I can't. So when I was in Tampa and I was living in this trailer, it was always alone. And my goodness gracious, I learned the lesson. I got to get over this thing. But there's something in my psyche somewhere that I can't stand it. I don't like that there's nobody there syndrome. So I can, and I don't throw anything away. She'll tell you, I see that can reminds me
I see
of,
your attachment.
That's so
when me and
funny.
my
There's
brother
the
used to
attachment.
hang.
There's like a box. We have some equipment we just got. We got to get rid of it. I need to return it. Oh no, we'll take care of it later. Under a chair.
Oh my God.
And what about this?
Laz,
Under
Rob,
a chair.
and Freddie need to have a little I save stuff that. is
Yeah, but
crap.
I fix it and I use it. You know that recorder that's in the lobby? That's a radio recorder from 1962 when I was born. And they brought that to me. I didn't seek it, they brought it to me.
Yeah.
That's big stuff.
I want to ask you, Dana, why did you write this book?
Good question.
Why did I write
That's
this
a
book?
really good question.
I wrote this book because I got a lot to say, but I wrote this book. I had mentioned in, I think, the first
Dying from
episode
COVID.
that, I got COVID and it slowed me down long enough to get my stuff in writing. But my, call it a compulsion to share what I've learned with others to hopefully make it easy for them. It's my purpose. Like you can't explain your calling to another person. You know, why didn't Noah build ark? He had to. Like he just could not, you know what I mean? He couldn't not do it.
But you could have done it in a different way. You could have just shared it factually.
Oh, why don't I share my
Attachment-
stories?
Well, there's a lot. Well, one was the book. There's attachment is this. Are you attached to something? But you really go deep
Yeah.
into your personal life
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Okay. Okay. So why did I do that? So, you know, it goes back to all my years in education. I taught high school kids, 9th and 10th grade, and sometimes 11th, but predominantly 9th and 10th grade. And everything I taught, the way I connect on a personal level. So it didn't matter if I was teaching something in English about, you know, a book and literature. It didn't matter what I was teaching in history. I was always able to connect it to them with something personal, and they always connected. And it's just so unnatural. It's how I educate. And they always responded because you could connect to the humanness of it.
1000%.
So I could say attachment is XYZ, which is very clinical, but if I start saying, hey, listen, I sat in my closet and cried over a trunk over a guy that I fell in love with when I was 21 who died, people are going to go, oh, I lost so-and-so and this one, and then they can connect. So I understand the
relatable.
magnitude of us being open about our stories and connecting. My ability to do that comes from my
Your muses.
not giving a lot. No, I'm just kidding. My ability to do that comes from I have nothing left to hide. I have nothing left to hide. Boy, there's no shame in the game, because if I share my story and you connect with it, maybe you'll have courage to share your story. And if we're all open and authentic and honest and share our stories, then we can heal from them. And that, because when I published it, I was like, oh my God, everybody's gonna know my stuff. But then I got past that quickly, because you understand there was more value to it in sharing my story than just saying.
Yeah, because I had to think about a lot of it. Like when my dad passed last year, it was totally flipped. My sister came and she made her peace with my dad, who he couldn't make his peace, or maybe he did, I don't know. He was not able to physically, but she was able to, which changed the family dynamics of that. And she had that moment to do that, which was the opposite of what you chose to do. But my sister had to make that choice.
Yeah.
Do I go make peace with Dad, or don't I?
Yeah.
And you chose to make your own peace the way you did.
To make my own peace.
Right, and she chose to make her peace that way. She didn't have to. So yes, your own stories help, I think, people, at least for me, discern the circumstances, because we all have situations in our life that we can relate to. The trunk I'm cracking up over, because as we're cleaning out my mom and dad's stuff, my mom has wills from like my great grandparents.
Wow.
In Russian.
Which is cool.
But do you keep it?
Exactly.
Yes.
Do you? So.
Yeah.
Do you keep it? And it's funny because my sister is the one going through all of it, and she's like, okay, that's Pop-Pop's passport from when he was 3 and he went to Russia and he got stuck there during the war and he couldn't, and translating and putting it, and so she's like, that's a keep pile.
Frame
Oh,
it.
that's right. I talk about the 3
So
piles.
that's the keep pile. She goes, it's not bothering anyone, it's another piece of paper. It goes in the keep pile. Now her wife throws everything away. And she's like, but why? And my sister goes, but it's one piece of paper. So it's
Frame
funny
it.
to see
That
the
is funny.
dynamics
Put it in
of
a
what
frame.
you keep. And my mother is like you. My mother keeps everything.
I gotta tell you, your son and your daughter and your granddaughter, think about the future.
I know.
My kids, forget about Gio and Freddie. Forget about it. They have no clue to my past. At least Gio has a clue to his grandmother's past. And if you don't take and remember something about your parents, you're gonna lose your past.
Oh, you're right.
So keep it.
But Freddie, there's no, like, at least in the book, like, nobody's saying, or I'm not saying, you know, get rid of everything and, like, you know, be a complete minimalist and have, you know, no feeling, no connection. Like, I have things that I've kept from my father. It's when it's painful to let it go. You've seen the show Hoarders. Mm-hmm. It always comes from some sort of trauma that people are fearful and they don't let go. So, like, again, back to the decanter we talked last week. Like, that mattered to me. But if
That's why nobody's going to drink from it.
Nobody's
going to
Have
drink.
it forever.
I will have it for as long as I have it.
But it's really about looking at yourself and where's the fear? Because that's where the attachments come from. Wendy, you've had a very difficult time letting stuff go because there's a fear, survival, there's these attachments. And that's all we're saying. I think it's great to have I used to have my father's passport because my kids, it's like a cool thing to have.
But
you know
yeah,
what I
that
mean?
blow dryer might break, so I need 3 more in the other drawer in case that one breaks. I've got another one.
And that's fear.
Or the 5 tweezers,
Yes.
because what if I don't have the exact tweezer for the right? I know.
Yeah.
Silly
So
things.
it's just, again, everybody's different. There's more than one way to skin a cat, but I think that there's value in looking at these things and looking at ourselves and really asking, you know, if everything is great, then great. But if your life is out of balance and you realize, well, if I made fewer judgments, or if I didn't expect so much, I wouldn't be so disappointed all the time. Or if I wasn't so attached, I would be able to move forward with things. Like my business last year. That attachment to that relationship and to that business was keeping me from this place.
Yeah.
Period. Think about that.
It was simmering you.
Yeah.
It was simmering me. Yeah.
It was adding the ingredients that make you today.
But hear what I'm saying. If I stayed there probably longer than what was good for me, but if I had stayed another year, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
1000%.
I would not have, and I'm gonna do this for you, Max, leveled up the way I did.
Yeah.
If I had stayed because of my obligation, my attachment, my expectation of what that should, all of those things. And once I released that, as hard as it was, once I left the yeshiva, once I released that as hard as it was, once I ended the relationships with all the people that have caused me pain, as difficult as that was, it's like a buoyancy. So your attachments, if you're happy, if you love all your crap, then good for you. But if your crap is weighing you down, then release those attachments and rise.
I'm going to tell you something. You're saying that, and the thing that hits me in the gut, and I'll keep it brief. When we talk about the releasing of stuff, I had an opportunity to release old furniture that I didn't even think meant anything. And then I went through the files of my son's IEPs and whatnot. And I sat back at his first IEPs to where he's at right now, 2 different children. I mean, obviously, he's older. But when I let those papers go, I read them and I threw them away. I literally cried. When I got rid of that furniture and it was gone, I didn't realize how much of my old life was represented in that furniture anymore. And I had milked it. I was always proud. You know, I don't have any credit card debt on what I have for furniture. It's all mine. And when I finally got rid of it, I realized, oh, there was a level of attachment. My identity was attached to these things. And the minute they were gone, now I could celebrate the fact that my son is where he's at, that those papers don't have any relevancy of that. Even though I do have a couple of papers, Dana's always like, you could put them in digital. But there's something about that.
Throw them out.
There's something about that tangible thing to see. Look at how he wrote his name to how he's writing it now and what he's doing now. So there's a level of where I was attached here. Now I'm not. Now I can see it from, look where we came from. So I've gotten to put it through, I guess, a transformation.
And then you can let it go.
1000%.
And like that's what I talk about with Vincenzo in the trunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I got rid of everything and I wasn't ready. I grieved it, but I had to take that picture out. And then when I was ready, then I was able to let it go. So there's no judgment, just assessment, but there's no judgment about how long it takes you to release it. Just, I think the message here is to understand, recognize, broaden your awareness to where these attachments are holding you back. That's it.
That's it.
Start there. And if you want to stay attached, then hey, go do your thing.
You know, I get amazed because one of the things that I love about the way you do what you do is that you have stories upon stories upon stories. And I am the same way. I can give you a story about a can of soda. I can give you a story about Coca-Cola. The can, my father bought stock when they opened. His brother made him get rid of the stock.
Oh, Jesus.
I wouldn't even be here if he hadn't gotten rid of that stock.
Oh, my
But the object of the game here, what's happening in our present life, is that to communicate, you got to do it with stories. You got to have some of that history. You got to have some of those things so that people can sort of think about. And this is what you do. You know, I all of a sudden sit here thinking about my past, my future is in 2 parts. I didn't think about that. But listening to what you're talking about, the reason I don't want to open that decanter, because that ain't done yet. That story ain't done yet.
1000%.
It's going to be done, but it ain't today. And one day we'll drink it. It just ain't now. That's why I don't open it. She makes fun of me. Don't open the bottle. You don't open it. I don't open it. I got bottles in there that are 10 years old from the very first day we started. Remember that?
Wow.
Because it ain't done yet. Now, the day that I hang it up and I'm done, I'll open all the bottles.
And that's what I'm talking about. When you're ready,
When you're ready.
whatever everybody's readiness is different, you'll let go of the IEP when you're ready. I put the picture in the pile when I was ready. You'll drink it when you're ready. You'll know when you're ready.
Exactly.
But if it's not holding you back, then all right, just collects a little
But
dust.
I
Who
love the
cares?
lessons that it's taught because they bring us forward.
What's chapter 7? You ready for the next chapter?
What's the next chapter?
I don't even know.
It's a long one.
No, 7's not long.
No, I mean to get to it. I shall not refute the truth and deny the solution to that truth.
Yeah.
You mean being honest with oneself?
Yeah, I was like, denial.
Wow.
Not just a river in
We're
Egypt.
getting there.
That's the book that burns the pages.
All right, how do people get the book?
So you can go to ubuntufishgallery.com and you can find the book, the audiobook, the journal, the other books, the artwork, and you know, I make a lot of jokes and I glaze over it, but seriously, if any of this resonates with you, the 3 books, the trilogy, starting with this one, are truly the answer. They help you look within. They keep it organized. I cannot recommend them enough. If I had these when I was going through this, I likely wouldn't have to write them, right? I implore you, just go take a look, read more about them, grab the audiobooks, and gets to getting.
Gets
Gets to
getting.
getting.
All right, before we go to commercial break, Wendy created, is it a portal?
I would say just a crystal grid.
A crystal grid. All right, can you not grab it, but
I have to say, when she first started talking about grids, I imagined like a piece of graph paper.
all right, this is one of the pieces that Wendy is donating for the Future Foundation's fundraiser on Tuesday at Crazy Uncle Mike's. And it's going to be in a raffle. Can you
There you go.
tell us about it, what it does, what it represents?
So I wanted to create a grid that was specific to the event. So this is finding voice, finding your space,
Vision.
voice and vision. That's basically what it is voice and vision for all of you guys that are doing what you're doing, finding your voice. We're in communication. So these are all relative to communication, to growth, new beginnings, opening up all these possibilities to what the next chapter looks like. But it's really being honest with our voice, finding our voice, and finding, in essence, what our piece in this whole creation is.
It is so beautiful.
Thank
So-
you.
You know,
Glad
you
you like
remember
it.
back in the day when they had the pyramids, and you put it over your bed, or
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
your bed,
What do they
or you
call
put it
those?
over the doorway.
Yep.
The pyramids of life, whatever it was called.
Yes.
Yeah, they were
Yes.
copper.
Yep.
Right?
Copper,
I did that
yeah.
for a bit too.
You did that?
Yep.
If you understand that science, you'll understand this science because
Yep. Yep.
let me tell you,
Sacred
things
geometry.
change.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, Wendy is very, very humble, but when she creates those grids, she's just not picking beads out of a box and throwing them on there. She is channeling the higher wisdom to help her best channel that energy into that grid, so that energy assists the person who has the grid. So it's
It's-
really a magical thing you do.
Thank you. It's similar to what Anne-Marie does. So I take what's out in the ethers and I combine it with the minerals and put them together for a specific need.
Beautiful.
Out
So,
in the ethers.
join us.
Wait a minute, you want to make an announcement? Out in the ethers.
Yeah.
Announcement. Thursday.
Oh, yeah, Thursdays. I will be out in the ethers.
Wow.
Do you guys want to make the announcement? Or am I making it?
You.
All right. So Thursdays, every other Thursday, starting May 14th, I am now doing the Ubuntu Room with Dana Sardano on Oldies FM, South Florida Oldies. And I'm super excited. I'm super excited. Everything that we talk about here, that we talk about in my regular segments, we're going to talk about it on the radio, out in the ethers. So be there or be square, because I'm bringing it.
Out in the ethers. All right, more to come after commercial break. We're super excited, so you're going to get more of Dana. And a huge thank you. It's kind of like full circle, because you actually spoke to the radio station, they sent you here, and now we're going to be doing it together. Dawn DeMarco Book, host of Faith Stories. Let's find out who her guest is on the other side of this commercial break. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stop playing small and step into your highest self? This isn't just a book club. It's a call to action. No fluff, no excuses, just growth. Actually, growth with some super cool people with a shared intention. Join us live at the Ubuntu Room on the Brooklyn Cafe Show Wednesdays at noon and become the greatest version of you. For more information, go to ubuntufishgallery.com. You be you, NTU, fishgallery.com.